I um I want to thank Unleash for inviting me to be here with you tonight. It's a gift because it's very humbling to see the work that you're doing and the plans that you're making towards achieving a more whole and healthy and complete society. I'm going to talk about lasting peace, its relationship to the SDGs, because peace, I believe, is a foundational basis for all of those things, for us as human beings to be able to come together and to be able to effectuate change and to live our lives as the best we can. Lasting peace often sounds like objectives of a big magnitude that only politicians and soldiers and diplomats and big institutions can hope to achieve. But I believe the contrary. I believe that they also depend on a myriad of actions and initiatives from the grassroots. One thing that's important is to look for needs in the world around us. In all of our communities, we're going to be faced with many, many different challenges. It's up to each of us to search for those things that we can be doing to make our communities better, whether that's supporting better schools or advocating for more recycling or volunteering or sewage or exercise. Building peace in our lives can also be very simple. It can be doing small things that make someone's day better. Mother Teresa said, "We shall never know all the good that we can cause by a simple smile." Smile at a stranger today. Tell a friend that you can help them today. These things also make a very big difference. In the end, I think that we should realize that the small things that we do in our own lives, in our communities, are part of a much bigger effort. So if you look at the Sustainable Development Goals, there are 17 very different objectives that the international community has set out for itself. We realize that they're ultimately there to help us build a world of peace where everyone is included. So anytime you're on your own and you do this in your own life, when you do something to make someone else's life better or make someone feel included, you're a part of the mission of the SDGs. This applies to my personal path. Today I conduct humanitarian missions in 3 continents, and I'm UNESCO Special Envoy for Peace and Reconciliation. This is an international role that I take very seriously, but this role actually started very locally for me. Some of my earliest memories are of the Watts riots. They happened about 2 miles from my home, and as I got older, gangs became a stronger and stronger presence in my neighborhood. I was in South Central for the birth of the Bloods and the Crips, very notorious gangs. So many of the kids that I knew back home got drawn into these lives of gangs, of drugs, of violence, and I saw how this robbed them of their future, and for some of them, robbed them of their lives. My first understanding of war and what it can do to a human being was when my cousin came back home from Vietnam. He slept in the room with me, and he became a ghost of his former self, a shell of his previous self. And I realized that he would never be what he was again. That experience tipped me towards action in my encounter with former child soldiers. I was in Uganda a little over 10 years ago. I was doing Last King. And some of the people I met were former child soldiers. And I saw in their struggles the same demons that some of the kids that I knew growing up were struggling with. I saw the same emptiness in them that I saw in my cousin when he came back from war. So the more I worked with these former child soldiers, the more I saw a need everywhere I looked. These children didn't just need to be taken out of armed groups. They needed to have home. They needed to have food. They needed school, community, and hope. Hope that they'll be able to get jobs. Hope that they'll be able to take care of themselves, their family, those they love. So once you start seeing these needs, then you just can't stop. That led me outside of Uganda into South Sudan, where we started to work, and then we moved into Mexico, and then we were also working in Los Angeles right now, in the United States. But I believe that every person everywhere can do something for peace, which I believe lays on the foundation again of what the SDGs are about. This is the premise of my foundation, Whitaker Peace and Development Initiative. My idea is that vulnerable communities impacted by conflict can regain resilience if we empower local young people as peacemakers and entrepreneurs. The story of Nkongo. He is one of the youth leaders that I work with, and he will give you an idea of our work. Nkongo established a small business in the county with our help. The business started in April. They quickly made a profit. In the meanwhile, Nkongo and his group had learned that there were two communities that had been in conflict for 2 years and would not be able to even talk to each other. They wouldn't be able to communicate, but they were on the borders of each other. So our group of entrepreneurs decided to take matters in their own hands. They took a piece of their profit and they fueled and they paid for a soccer tournament between the youth of these two encampments. And no, they weren't able to solve everything, but they were able to open up a door and a channel for discussion and dialogue, which with work will continue to move them forwards. They invested in peace at their own initiative. This is a perfect example of peace and what it does in local initiatives. These young people receive support from us in an international NGO, but in the end, it was in their direct environment that they found a seed of peace that they could nurture and hopefully grow. I think someone said earlier how you have the capacity to do amazing things. Throughout history, there have been people like yourselves who have made a decision to move something forward, made a decision to make a change. And I, too, want to be able to say to you, you can make a difference. All these amazing, powerful ideas that I'm hearing, you can change the tapestry of the world. You can create the world that you want to live in. You can create a sustainable future for all of us. You can create peace. You can create peace. You can create peace. Thank you for indulging me tonight.